5, 4.
Welcome, students, to Monk Meditation, the show about monks in the world of Warcraft.
Man, Mistweavers are getting some huge changes, Brewmasters a slight adjustment, and Windwalkers have pretty much won everything. Praise be the unto Celestalon. This is Monk Meditation, episode 19.
Here's your host, Chai T.
Hey guys, this is Chai T from Airy Peak, US. I'm not even going to waste your time with this intro because we have a lot to get through. So I'm going to just go ahead and move into Storm, Earth, and Fire as soon as I can hit the sounder.
Storm, Earth,
and fire!
Alright, we're going to go to tonight's hosts. How you doing, everybody? We're going to start with Duke. What excites you most about this patch?
Crane stance.
Yes!
Crane stance.
Oh.
It'll work. It'll be viable. And it's going to be so much fun.
Man, I am so stoked for that. Air, how about you?
Oh, well, guys, I'm happy to be back. I am no longer flu-stricken, so it's been a long time, and I have to say this that before the last show, we downed Heroic Paragon.
Woo! Good job.
So now we have had 2 weeks on Heroic Garage, and wow. Anyways, yes, no, I am most excited about the rebalancing of all the classes. You know, monks being brought up, other classes, especially melee DPS, kind of coming more in line. So we're leveling the playing field. I love it.
All right, and now Yuki, how you doing, brother?
I'm good. Extra tired. My brain hurts. So much to cover. But the one that excites me the most is, I want to say, the level 100 talent, the Chi Explosion.
Yes. That one looks pretty fun. Yeah.
It looks so OP.
Yeah.
So OP.
Which is how we like it.
As far as Mistweavers go. But yeah, that's the one I'm most excited about right there.
Alrighty. Okay, so we are going to go ahead and move straight into the crazy whirlwind of news.
Dizzying haze.
Alright, Alpha has begun. It is now April. What does this mean for the release date of Warlords? Does anyone have an opinion on that?
In the future.
Almost right from the beginning, I've been saying that it's going to be the first or second week of October. I think I kind of cemented myself for October 14th. We're still on track for that. I don't believe this December 20th mumbo jumbo. It's not going to come out the day before Blizzard shuts down for 2 weeks. So
Yeah.
I'm thinking October.
Yeah, December 20th wasn't even a Tuesday, so
I think they admitted that they said that release date so that when they release it sooner, everybody's like, oh, it came out earlier. Well, yay.
Yep.
It's like, we knew it the whole time.
Yeah. What are your thoughts, Air?
You know, we just hit alpha. Apparently, it's a beta. Maybe we'll even have a C word after that. Then into the delta. And math, numbers, dates, Nostradamus, it'll happen.
Okay.
It's going to happen sometime in the future. That's all. Not as soon as it. Okay.
Way to commit there, Air. Yes.
I don't want anything to happen.
Thank you. Good night.
Until we down Garage. Once we down Garage, the patch can drop the next day. Fine. So that's the only thing in my mind right now is getting him down before patch.
All right, fair enough. Well, I think most of the news is going to be in our uplift section since it's actually part of the next expansion. So I'm going to keep your spirits up as the sky falls around you in.
The sky is falling! The sky is falling!
Uplift. Don't worry, I'm sure it happens to other monks too.
So before we get to the patch notes, Celestalon did have a little bit of information regarding multi-strike and how that's going to work for Windwalkers and Warlords. Because right now, if you get the multi-strike trinket off of the Dark Shamans, it does not proc on your Storm, Earth, and Fire. or you will still proc it, but your clones will not. So that is being corrected in Warlords. So each of your clones and you will have an independent chance of triggering multi-strike. So if you hit Rising Sun Kick, you have the 2 rolls to hit the extra 30%, and each of your clones has the 2 rolls to hit it as well. So that's going to be, so that's a lot of dice rolling going on right there. All right, now for the big juice of tonight, the patch notes. So we had this completely dropped on us last Thursday. A lot of show prep going on here, so let's get right into it. So this is going to be for the class as a whole. Agility, Intellect, no longer grant crit. Base crit is going to be 5%. Brewmasters and Windwalkers will have a passive ability that will increase that crit by 10% for a total base of 15%. So Agility used to grant crit, and that would cause scaling issues, especially for other melee classes, warriors, paladins, things like that, because strength did not grant crit at all. So agility-based classes ended up being significantly higher on the crit scale at it, so they're bringing this more baseline down, which is nice because at lower item levels, we're not going to have as crazy of hard time trying to get to crit caps as we are at higher item levels.
But it's still going to be all the agility classes, though, that are going to have this increased 10% crit. All the leather-wearing melee DPS classes, I should say.
Right. So agility is going to grant 1 attack power instead of 2 now. Strength will grant, we think, 0. I'm still trying to get clarification from Celestalon, but I'm pretty sure it's going to be 0 attack power.
That's what I read from his tweets. With going with some other conversations there, it looks like we no longer get any benefit from strength. Yeah,
the patch notes were a little vague. I could have read it as either 0, 0.5, or 1. I'm pretty sure it's not 1, but it still could be 0.5, but I'm thinking it's 0. The formulas for weapon damage have been completely revamped. We're not going to go through the math here. If you're interested, check out the patch notes. We'll have a link to that in the show notes as well. Ability pruning, disable, removed from Brewmaster and Mistweaver. Windwalkers still maintain disable, and that is the slow effect. Hit them once to slow them down, hit them twice to keep them rooted.
It has a 10-yard range now, doesn't it?
Yes. Yep.
Yeah.
So,
very nice for PvP.
At least according to Wowhead, it does have a 10-yard range.
Right, and that's data mine, so we don't know for sure.
If they kept that for PvP, that'd be fantastic.
I'm sure it would. The healing spheres, we knew this already, but healing spheres is gone. What we didn't know is what they're going to give us to replace that healing utility, and that's going to be Surging Mist. So now we can actually heal other players directly. It will cost 30 energy for Windwalkers and Brewmasters. It will only generate chi for Mistweavers. So Surging Mist will be available for all of us, which is nice. Grapple weapon, gone. We knew that already. So crowd control changes. So here's some big stuff. Fists of Fury no longer stuns a target more than once per cast. So this will be great on fights like Galacrus. I don't know if there's going to be anything in the next tier that's like that, but we would have problems where you would hit diminishing returns and something would become unstunnable if we use Fists of Fury too often. So now it will only stun once, which is good. Glyph of Breath of Fire. That disorient effect will now share diminishing returns with all other mesmerize effects. Ring of Peace. This is a huge one. Our talent, Ring of Peace, no longer silences or disarms enemies. It is now an incapacitation effect in the area for 3 seconds or until the target takes damage. The ability now shares diminishing returns with all other mesmerize effects.
Now, did they also remove all other disarms from other classes too?
Yes. Disarm is no longer a thing.
Disarm is gone.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Spear Hand Strike will no longer silence a target if you're facing the monk. Or if they're facing the monk.
That's an interesting change, because basically it means that if you hit a mage from behind, they're going to be silenced, but if you hit them from the front, they're still going to be able to nuke you in the face.
No. What it does is it will still do an interrupt if you hit them from the front. It will interrupt their current cast, but they will not be silenced.
Right, but you don't get the 4-second silence.
Right. So you'll still interrupt it, but you won't silence if you hit them from the front. It's probably just
change the way the notes are on that, because it says you jab them in the throat. So
right, you
reach
around
in the back of the throat. Oh, okay.
Yeah, you reach around and hit them. But I think that's mainly just for PvP, though it will affect PvE, but we should be always in the back anyway, so it's not a huge deal. Spinning Fire Blossom. I was interested to see if this is still a thing. So I was expecting that one to get cut. But we keep Spinning Fire Blossom, and that root effect now shares diminishing returns with all other roots. Weaken Blow effect has been removed. Our only ability that had that was Keg Smash for the Brewmasters. Monster damage has been reduced to compensate. So pretty much every tank class had a Weakened Blow effect. And so it was homogeneous, so why have it? So they got rid of it and just reduced damage to compensate it. Glyphs are now auto-learned, some of them. Some, but not all, will be learned automatically. For us, at 25, we will learn Fortuitous Spheres, Rapid Rolling, and Afterlife. At 50, we'll learn Spinning Crane Kick. And at 75, Breath of Fire, Manatee, and Fists of Fury. Now, Air, before you get too excited...
It's not called Fists of Fury.
No. That's not the glyph you're wanting. I think that one is the one where it will parry 100% when you're casting it.
I don't know. Really?
Yeah.
They still have that? They do have that, don't they?
Yeah, that's the
Right.
current Fest of Fury glyph. So we'll get to the one that Air is really excited about in a second.
I want to be a pretty butterfly.
Yes.
That's all I can say.
Yes. Transcendence Transfer no longer has an energy or mana cost. At 100, at level 100, it will no longer have a cast time either, which, yay. So instant cast, poof, disappear. Glyphs, Glyph of Expel Harm. Expel Harm's energy cost is reduced by 5 while your health is below 35%. Glyph of Victory Roll, you gain 1 charge of roll or chi torpedo whenever you kill a target that grants experience or honor. And Glyph
Is this beyond the 2 cap?
Yes.
Yep.
That's sweet.
Is
And
it?
probably, yeah, I would assume so. Oh, okay, no, gain 1 charge. So probably you would have to have used it beforehand. I do not know.
It just means you can be a mobile wrecking ball and always have roll after you kill that rogue.
Right.
That's great. I think
Glyph,
that's really cool for PvP. Definitely.
Yeah.
Glyph of Freedom Roll. Your roll, chi torpedo, and flying serpent kick abilities dispel all snares affecting you when used. Also PvP. And here's the interesting part. Duke, you want to take perks?
Yeah, so as you go up from level 91 to 99, you're going to get a random perk, a Draenor perk from one of 9. Now, all specs get the following 3. You're going to get Enhanced Roll, which your roll now travels the same distance in 25% less time, so a little bit faster. Enhanced Transcendence, the one that Chai alluded to before. The cooldown is slower to 35 seconds, and Transcendence Transfer is now instant cast. And then you get Empowered Blackout Kick, which just increases Blackout Kick by 20%. The spec-specific perks we will talk in their section.
All right, and why don't you take Brewmaster as well, Duke?
Sure. So let's talk about the Brewmaster. In reality, not a lot changed as far as Brewmaster goes. They really liked the position that Brewmaster was in going into Warlords of Draenor. But one of the things he did is that the amount of dodge gained per agility is going to be reduced by 25%, so you're not going to be dodging as much. They definitely want to have you depend on your active abilities. A nice bonus, Legacy of the White Tiger, the 5% crit buff, you're going to get that too, along with the Windwalkers. So now you and the Windwalkers can have a nice little ring-chiming battle. What's gone from the Brewmaster? Well, we know Avert Harm is gone. Clash is gone. Power Guard is gone. And Disable, we already talked about that's being gone. A lot of these abilities, especially Clash, are ones that are kind of redundant. Avert Harm was controversial in that you basically sucked all the damage to you, so you needed some way to get rid of it. And Power Guard was kind of silly because you need to do a Tiger Palm before you get the real guard. There was no Brewmaster that did not do that. And it was a trap for people who did not know to do that, so they just took it out and said, okay, guard is now the way it is. Now, they're changing Vengeance, and that's gone. So they're going to bring in what's called Resolve. Resolve will increase your healing and absorption done to yourself based on your stamina and damage taken before avoidance and mitigation in the last 10 seconds. What this means is that the giant attack power boost that tanks love to do by standing in fire or something else like that is completely gone. Instead, what they're going to do is increase the tank DPS so that you're close to a dedicated DPSer, but you're probably going to be about 75%. As a result, all tank abilities across the board are going to be buffed up way. But since you lose Vengeance, it's, melee DPS, don't worry, you're still going to be topping the meters. We'll also get some benefit from our mastery. So we get a 12% base increase to our damage output. And as we stack more mastery, that will go up. The 15% damage nerf, which I hate looking at my character sheet every single time because those numbers are in freaking red, gone. Thank God. Let's talk about a couple of glyphs. So, Glyph of Keg Smash will now increase the range of Keg Smash by 5 yards. And Glyph of Leo the Ox now also causes the Black Ox statue to passively pulse a minor amount of threat to all enemies within 30 yards. Which is kind of nice. Now you can use it as an add stack point. You can actually help out your off tank or help yourself out if you want. The Draenei perks that Brewmasters get. First one is Improved Breath of Fire, which now applies a dot effect to your target. Improved Guard means that Guard now has 2 charges. Now, we know that they still charge 30 seconds, so what basically means is that you can use it twice in a single minute, but it allows you to stack it up to twice in case it runs out before the first 30 seconds. Did I say Draenei perks? Draenor perks.
You did. I'm just saying. I thought you were talking about
what?
racials. I'm like, what? Brewmaster Draenei? What? No.
It's so easy to confuse, even though they're not from that planet. So, improved Dizzying Haze means that it no longer has an energy cost, which is fantastic. Now you can throw out those kegs as fast as you possibly can. Empowered Keg Smash increases the damage by 20% because what we really needed was that to be a little buffed up. Elusive Brood now increases dodge chance by an additional 5%, and improved Stance of the Sturdy Ox gives you a stamina bonus of 20%, which will help out their basic idea of stamina stacking, mastery stacking for tanks. The level 100 talents you get, Soul Dance is going to be an interesting one because now you'll be able to shrug off magic. Let's see. You are able to shrug off even spells such that 30% of your normal stagger amount works against magic damage. So now your stagger works against magic. Chi Explosion is going to be an interesting one. It replaces Blackout Kick, and at 1 Chi, you just deal damage equal to whatever the number they decide. At 2 Chi, you also gain Shuffle for 2 seconds, plus 2 seconds per Chi consumed. At 3 Chi, it also purifies you of any of your stagger damage. So at 3 Chi, it's essentially equal to a Blackout Kick plus a Purifying. And at 4 Chi, the damage also hits all enemies within 8 yards of the target. So if you do a 4 Chi, you're going to get Stagger for 6 seconds, you're going to get Shuffle for 6 seconds, your Stagger is going to go away, and you're going to hit everyone around you for 8 yards for a ton of damage. And the last talent you're going to get is Chi Serenity. You enter an elevated state of mental and physical serenity for 10 seconds. While in this state, all Chi consumptions are instantly refilled, which basically means you can spam the heck out of whatever you want on your bar.
All right, and to discuss these changes, I'm going to bring in some people from the community. All right, let's roll the dice and see who we get first. Let's bring in... Here we go. See if he answers. This is Thrilling Radio. Hello.
Hello.
All right, and who do we have here?
We have Hina Lover.
Hina Lover. All right, what are your thoughts on the Brewmaster changes?
I'm actually kind of happy with it. I really like the part about the fact that you can well, the main thing is the magic mitigation.
Mm-hmm. The Soul Dance, right?
Yeah, Soul Dance. That's my biggest thing about it, is the fact that we're getting some magic mitigation besides having to use Power Guard, or now Power Guard's gone.
Mm-hmm.
But that's the main one that I'm happy about. Sucks that Avert Guard is gone, but I can see kind of why they took it out. They just wanted to make sure that it was just a raid cooldown per se, more of a personal than what we were having. But it was more of a raid cooldown that they were trying to move more towards the healers.
Right. Yeah, avert harm was a raid cooldown, which they definitely want to put more on the healer side. Let the DPS, let the tanks tank. So I think that was a good call to remove avert harm, and it wasn't widely used either. I mean, at the top levels it was, but
no, maybe in 10-man, but definitely not in 25.
no, that would kill you in 25-man.
Yeah, unless you pop Zen Med in addition.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Any other thoughts on the changes for Brewmaster?
I like the fact that working with kind of pushing more towards the active mitigation. The 3 charges that I really liked. But kind of bummed that the dodge is still agility to dodge is still there, but not as much. But definitely stuff that is in a good position where it is right now.
Okay. All right. Well, thanks for joining us.
Not a problem.
Have a good one.
You do.
All right. And next up, let's roll the dice again. All right. You guys have any thoughts while I get the next person on?
Are these 20-sided dice?
With as many people as we have, probably should be.
Let me see. Who else tanks here? Just
Hello.
Duke and Chai.
Yeah, Duke. I don't tank that much, but yeah, Duke. Hello. Who do we have on the line?
Hi, I'm Jim.
Hi, Jim. What are your thoughts on
Hello.
Brewmaster?
A lot of the changes are not really going to impact the way that we play that much. Like as you said, a lot of it's passive. Extra damage to blackout kick, keg smash, whatever. The extra 5% dodge from Elusive Brew is just, it's nice, but it's not going to make any difference in how we play. I mean, we're still going to be trying to keep Elusive Brew up all the time anyway. The avert harm change, or rather its removal, it's fine. We use it in 25 pretty frequently. We use it on Garrosh as an extra cooldown in heart phases when he's annihilating, and we use it in phase 1 when he does Warcry for the ads, or what, Hellscream's War Song, whatever you want to call it,
Right.
when they fixate people. But I mean, outside of that, it's pretty rare for us to use it, so especially since they're going to be rebalancing all the raids, or rather future raids, around us not having that cooldown. I'm not really going to miss it, and it's not that big a deal.
Right.
Clash, kind of the same thing. I use Clash on exactly 2 fights in Siege of Orgrimmar. I use it on Galakras to stun, since the ads like to wait several seconds before they actually aggro anybody, for some reason. I don't know if you guys have that issue, but we do. And I use it on Heroic Nourishin when we have a bunch of ads coming up at once to try to consolidate them. But I mean, people have been mentioning caster mobs, using it to pick those up. But if you're in a 25-man raid, and especially if you're in a 20-man raid in the future, we have, silencing shot or counter spell or whatever. All I need to do is toss kegs, and the ads will come to me. It's not something we really have to worry about.
Yeah, now you'll be able to toss kegs like crazy, so...
Yeah. I'm not really... I'm not super happy with the removal of Healing Sphere. I use Healing Sphere a lot on my Brewmaster.
But you'll have Surging Mist, at least.
Yeah, but I can't put down Healing Spheres
Ahead of time?
Or
Right.
I won't be able to. And with Huge Vengeance, I can full heal the other tank, in a couple of seconds instantly. And I'm not going to be able to do that with Surging Mist.
Right.
Which is...
Does
unfortunate.
Resolve buff...
It does. It's healing and absorption.
Right, is it healing just to you, or is it healing... Would you be able to cast on the other tank as well?
I don't know, actually.
Yeah.
It would make sense for it to work with healing that you do to other people. I would
Right.
assume that it's going to work on Surging Mist. It worked on Healing Sphere, and since that's like the replacement,
Pretty much the same thing, yeah.
it'd be
So
kinda lame
you're
if
not
it
really
didn't.
losing too much functionality on that. All you're really losing is the ability to do it ahead of time.
Yeah.
And even with Vengeance, that wouldn't work anyways, because it would snapshot it when you cast it. So this is actually a little bit better, I think.
Yeah.
So Chi Explosion. What are your thoughts on Chi Explosion?
Chi Explosion is... I like it and I don't like it. I like it from the standpoint of, yeah, it's neat and it's going to give us the ability to do some pretty cool AoE damage.
Right.
I don't like it in that it will always, as far as I know, it'll always consume as many chi as I have.
Right.
So
it will.
if it's against a single target, yeah, I get extra shuffle, but it's AoE damage that's totally wasted.
Yeah, if you're really solid at your chi management, then it gives you a lot of control and a lot of GCDs back, because you just spend one GCD in order to get, you spend the 3 chi and you do damage, you do you get your shuffle, and you get purify all in one GCD. So
although I don't know if I would rather have the ability to do AoE, or if I would rather have shuffle magic, or magic shuffling, or I'm sorry, stagger. And Chi Serenity looks nice. I was actually thinking about how they might apply to current raids. Something like Chi Serenity would be really great for solo tanking Malkrok Phase 2, where I could just machine gun purify over and over again.
Right. Yeah, and also that would really, Chi Serenity would be awesome right at the top too, to
front load a bunch of
shuffle.
Yeah,
you spam Blackout Kick to just get shuffled up the wazoo. So it's,
I'm sure it's gonna be a cool talent choice, and I'm sure it's gonna be viable. I just have to play around with it for myself before I decide whether or not it's gonna be worth taking on a lot of fights.
Okay. All right.
One of the tricks to using Chi Serenity at the beginning of the fight is that you're going to need to have the Chi before you can spend it.
Right.
It's not
that's
all
what
Chi
Cheever is
abilities
for.
are free; they're refilled. So drink, Blackout Kick, spam.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, thanks so much for joining us, Jim.
Yeah. Thank you.
All right.
Yeah, Jim.
Have a good night.
You too.
All right. And next up.
It's a lot of good info, because I changed my off spec to Brewmaster.
Yeah. It's gonna be from some fun stuff. Oh, Dark Lady, you have to get a new version of Skype. Sorry. All right. And so let's see who I've got. One other person. Yeah. Here we go. I love this shirt. There's a problem with this call. Yay.
Ooh. Well,
Oh, shoot. She was just on. I disconnected.
Hey.
Hello. Who we got?
We've got Larold right here.
All right. What are your thoughts?
Oh, man. My thoughts on Brewmaster are fortunately not a lot changed, and I really think that's great news. We were in a really good spot coming out of Siege, or continuing in Siege, however progressed you are. And I'm glad to see that not that much was taken away. Some pretty small tools. Avert Harm was a personal cooldown, really more than a raid cooldown. So I'm glad, or I'm sad to see that go, rather. But I'm actually glad to see Clash go, because I really thought we were going to lose Dizzying Haze instead.
Right.
And while I like Clash, I mean, it's a good skill, there's Death Grip. And other than that, we have some redundant tools. We have some other mobility, some other AoE CCs. Mm-hmm. So that wasn't as horrible a loss as it could have been. The addition of Enhanced Transcendence is fantastic. I mean, that ability, just that little bit of extra movement of not having to stop to teleport when you're kiting on, say, Heroic Garrosh, is game-changing. The damage buffs, the Blackout Kick and Keg Smash damage, the damage is going to get rebalanced anyway, so those are kind of inconsequential. But the other really two big things, Elusive Brew is a nice little bump, but the 20% stamina bonus to Stance of the Sturdy Ox
Oh, yeah, it's going to be huge.
Big effective health increase. And I think they learned a really good lesson in this expansion with the way that they designed Brewmaster, which is you have two stats. You have crit, which is pure damage reduction, and damage output, of course, but massive damage reduction. And then you have mastery, which is effective health. They've co-opted that for a lot of the other tanks, and it's been really, really effective for Brewmasters throughout the expansion.
Yeah,
the other big change is guard. Sorry, please go ahead.
Okay, and I can see stamina now being huge. The stamina mastery build can be really huge, because stamina will affect resolve as well.
Sure, sure.
Yeah, I can see that stamina and mastery, because mastery is now throughput as well, because you get increased attack power.
That's right. I think the biggest thing that this will do for stamina, because mastery has increased returns, I don't think this will ever make us want to. I don't even know if it's possible to gym for stamina, but I certainly don't think it would want us to make us want to gym for stamina or enchant for it or anything like that. But I think if we get a trinket that has stamina on it, or something along those lines, I think it's not detrimental compared to getting a trinket with mastery. So I'm sure everyone else will mention it as well, but improved guard is the kind of the massive, overwhelming, huge playstyle altering addition that we've gotten.
Right.
And it's like, I think it's really the only one that's going to be a significant improvement for us. But I really like that. It allows us to use it a lot more liberally rather than having to hold guard for bursts.
Right. Yeah, you can use it when you need to rather than when you have to.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You can use one when you take some unpredictable spike damage and still have one in the tank for when you have predictable burst damage that you have to guard.
Right.
So it's great.
All right. Well, thank you so much for joining us tonight.
Yeah.
All right. Take
Good
care.
to talk to you.
All right. We'll try you, Dark Lady, one more time. Sorry, I hung up on you. It wasn't her that I banned last week, was it?
It was.
I think so, yes.
She's gonna hate me.
Wait, you banned her from chat?
Yeah, accidentally. There was some doofuses in the chat room that I had to ban. And
somebody spoke.
And someone spoke and
her
it bumped
name
up and
went
I
up to
bumped
her.
her off, yeah. Hello!
Her name went up to the
How are
mouse.
you?
Good, doing great. Sorry I hung up on you.
It's okay. My Skype went kind of crazy anyway, so
Okay.
I'm not quite sure what happened there. It just went bonkers.
All right, what are your thoughts on Brewmaster?
Well, I'm like think I'm the only person, but I'm really genuinely heartbroken that they've taken Clash away. genuinely heartbroken.
It only worked half the time, and it didn't even work on bosses.
See, for me, it
It was
always
a
worked
taunt
fine.
for bosses, wasn't it?
I loved it. I love it for trash. It's so much fun because you can do the Leroy Jenkins yell and you press Clash and you're gone, and it's
And you
so
get
much fun.
one, and that one is like 10 yards away from all the other ones, so now you got to throw a keg over at them.
Yeah, but it's just so great. But I'm really glad that they didn't take. I was another one that was kind of worried about the Dizzy and Haze thing. I thought that was going to go as well, and I was like, oh, please don't take that away because it's such a good AoE pickup. To be honest, I'm really glad that they're kind of making tanks again. I was, it's getting to the point where, like, really, as a tank, you're just kind of an extra DPS now, which is lovely. It's really nice to be able to do lots of damage, but I think that it's going to be nice that tanks are going to have to build around the whole mastery thing, and I'm a huge advocate of mastery anyway, seeing as I run around with as much of it as I can possibly muster at the moment. So, but yeah, other than that, I think what they've done to Brewmasters is quite nice. Again, I'm upset about the healing spheres as well, because the Surging Mist is cool, but you can't do it on the move. The healing spheres is amazing for kiting because you can chuck kegs and behind you and then chuck healing spheres in front of you and you're all good to go. But, it'll just be an adjustment that we have to make, I guess.
Yeah, it's a skill kind of thing because having to click healing spheres, then target, then hit, it's like you're wasting enough time doing that where now instead you can just hit, target, hit a button and you're casting. If you're really skilled with it, I can see how healing spheres would be better, but I think Surging Mist will be better for the vast majority of people.
Yeah, definitely for sort of when you're standing still tanking a boss. I don't know what it is with it might just be my raid group, but they kind of go, oh, you're a monk. That means that all the things that can be kited, you must now go and kite them. So
right. So you're casting ahead of you. Yeah.
When we do our Garrosh kills, like, I have to kite those little lads for days.
Yeah.
Just run around the room with them for ages so that the rest of them can just finish the boss off and I just run around with the ads. But yeah, I like to chuck the healing spheres out in front of me, but it's something that we'll all get used to, I guess.
Are you taking notes, Duke?
Yep.
Okay, good. 'Cause we'll be coming up on him pretty soon. All right.
It's so easy. Literally, kegs everywhere, healing spheres everywhere. You're sorted.
Okay. All right, well, thanks for joining us.
Thank you very much.
Have a good night.
See you later.
Bye. All right.
Russia, I'm looking forward to as a tank because it's pretty. If we get to phase 3, it's going to be like, yep, beer, run for my life.
Right. All right, let's move on to Windwalker. Air, take it away.
Hey, we got Windwalkers now. Yes, this is why everyone is here, right?
Right.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
Sure.
Okay. So, with the patch notes, some of the ability pruning that we had going on is we are losing adaptation, which makes a lot of sense because we can no longer be disarmed.
Mm-hmm.
That was, get disarmed, you have an extra chance to parry, I think it was.
Yeah.
Or parry or dodge, so we got rid of that. Let's see. I think that was the only thing we're losing, really.
Yep. That and
specific
grapple
class,
weapon, healing spheres. Yeah, it's only Windwalker
healing
specific
spheres.
thing.
Yeah, so that's it. Everything else, it's we've lost the weight, we've shed the poundage. Now
It's Happy
let's,
Patchmas.
Yes.
Yeah, let's open up some gifts here. So, like hunter pets, like rogues and like warlocks, Rising Sun Kick will now increase magic damage taken by the target by 5% for 15 seconds. So Shadow Priest will get that ability too. So that's a good kind of raid-wide synergy thing going on there. Mm-hmm. Afterlife's healing spheres heal for the same amount as other healing spheres instead of 15% of max health. So that should be a buff, maybe?
Let's see. It should be, I think. We'll find out.
Well, I mean,
We'll
scales with your attack power now.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
as we get more powerful, it'll be a buff.
it'll be better off for you.
All right. Big one for us. Storm, Earth, and Fire is now off the GCD.
Yes.
Launch the
great.
fireworks.
Yes.
That's huge. I mean, it's ladies and gentlemen, get ready your mouse over macros. Seriously, you're gonna be popping these things out. You're gonna like they're hot. Really,
Right.
It's gonna be great.
Like fireworks.
Exactly. Windwalkers now share their 10. The Windwalkers give a raid-wide buff of a 10% movement speed buff to all melee within, or anyone within 10 yards of them right now.
So it's going to be mainly the melee group. They'll move with you.
Yeah. There's been talks about how, they're probably going to have to design encounters around having this. So this is essentially what we will have as some kind of raid utility, which is kind of cool.
And every time the Windwalker will roll out of everyone else's range, everyone else is going to You know that.
Everyone knows when we just leave the group to go do something else. Yeah, it'll be a little bit more noticeable now. Let's see. Touch of Death is now usable on targets that have 10% or less health remaining, or less health than your max health. So what this means is that when a boss or an enemy is at 10% health, you will do your max health as damage.
Yeah.
How cool is that?
We just got a confirmation from Celestalon, and this is the only part we didn't win. Cannot crit or multi-strike.
Can you imagine critting
Oh
and
my
multi-strike
god.
at the
Yeah,
same time?
that would be 2.6 times your max health if you crit and hit both your multi-strikes. That would just be phenomenal. Plus you use Fortifying Brew to buff your health up even higher, and then hit that crit multi-strike. It's like, lol. But no, we can't do that.
No, it's already fun enough right now, especially if you glyph it, to just walk up to mobs and just touch them once and watch them die. So
Right.
that's fun enough as is.
Yeah, the primary reason that they did this change was because in raid type encounters, we couldn't use it. 500k, 600k, that goes way too quickly. So this just allows us to at least get it in. So it still has the cooldown, the 1.5, or if you glyph it, 3-minute cooldown. So you're only going to get to use it once, unless you're going really slow in DPS. But so at least it lets us get it in.
Yeah, it's kind of like an execute, but not the full ability where you can spam it. So
Right.
yeah. Let's see, some big changes to Fist of Fury. Right now, you attack something and it splits the damage between all of the targets, so they're changing that. Fist of Fury will always deal full damage to the primary target. Additional targets are still affected by the damage split. So, boom. Yes. The Fist of Fury itself, compared to what it is now, it's going to have a 100% damage increase.
And then we get the 20% on top of that.
Yes, with the Empowered Fist of Fury. So But
So
a lot of
welcome
the
to the
abilities are getting-
rotation, Fist of Fury.
Yes.
Yeah,
Welcome.
that's going to change things quite a bit. The one last problem we had with Fist of Fury was having to sit there and channel it, and stuff moving away. Maybe the tank doesn't like you very much, or he pulls the boss away from you as soon as he sees you, he or she sees you channeling. We now have Glyph of the Floating Butterfly. We are now able to move while channeling, but we do remove the stun effect.
And I am quite okay with this because stun never works on bosses anyways.
Who cares for a boss?
Right.
They just literally fixed Fist of Fury.
Yeah, everything
right
that was wrong
Everything.
with it. Bam.
For your PvPers, one thing to keep in mind is now, as with other spells, Fist of Fury will only do 1 stun per cast. So if you're caught in it and you trink it out, you can't be re-caught by the same cast, which personally I think it's a nice thing for Fist of Fury too.
Yeah.
So, all right. Hold on, we got some more. So yeah, Glyph of Floating Butterfly we talked about. Glyph of Flying Serpent Kick. Flying Serpent Kick is now, it also slows all enemies you move through by 70% for some time.
Yeah.
The patch does say 0 seconds, but that's probably
Yeah, that's
just
not right.
So that's kind of neat if you just zipping along. This is a great reason to leave your melee group with the 10% movement speed buff to get out of there to go
Right.
slow some guys.
This is a huge, I won't say huge, but I prefer this over the old Flying Serpent Kick glyph, which would, as soon as you reach someone, you'll stop and hit the AoE because you'll inevitably hit a critter. Instead of
that.
Like, well,
Or
I'm
it-
glad
it-
I decimated the crap out of that squirrel.
Yeah,
Or when you play with a 200 millisecond ping, you always overshoot.
you're right.
Always. So, yeah. Going to look at perks now. So we touched on this briefly. The improved Energizing Brew. While Energizing Brew is active, your multi-strike chance is increased by 15%. So yeah, I'm guessing we'll probably talk about that a little bit more in depth soon. Empowered Chi. We now it increases our maximum Chi by 1. So we have a 5 Chi baseline, which is fantastic. Empowered Spinning Crane Kick. Spinning Crane Kick now deals damage twice as fast, but its duration is reduced by 50%. So this is just ultra spin cycle,
Yes.
pretty much. It does not work with Rushing Jade Wind though, because apparently Rushing Jade Wind is OP in current live, according to those in charge. I don't believe them.
It's hard to justify having a 2-second channel that lets you do other stuff at the same time. So I can see why they don't want it to work with Rushing Jade Wind, but they really should just tune down Rushing Jade Wind a bit to make this work.
Yeah.
No. It's fine. It'll still be completely overpowered with everything else we got going too. So,
Exactly.
let's see, where are we? We are now at the Empowered Rising Sun Kick. Like some of our other damage abilities, damage to Rising Sun Kick is now increased by 20%. Same with Empowered Fist of Fury. Damage by a Fist of Fury is increased by 20%, and Empowered Tiger Palm increases damage of Tiger Palm by 20%. So that means that by the time you get to level 100, your abilities, on top of the scaling from gear and everything else, your main attacks will all do 20% more damage, which is why the Fist of Fury buff is so huge, is that on top of the baseline 20% that all of your abilities are getting, the Fist of Fury is really going to be key to use now, which is really nice.
All right, let's move on to our level 100 talents.
Shall I continue?
Yes, go ahead.
All right, okay. So level 100 talents, we got, the first one is Hurricane Strike. You get to unleash a rapid series of kicks towards random enemies within 12 yards, dealing a total of blah damage over 2 seconds. While kicking, you are immune to movement impairing and loss of control effects.
So this got nerfed a little bit because we used to be
Yes.
immune to all damage.
I mean, yeah, which would have been great to mess with, but it's still, that looks like a huge damage ability. And I think they were talking about, based on the Datamine tooltips, that this is essentially like multiple Rising Sun Kicks.
Yeah.
Is the way it works out. So the next talent is called Chi Explosion. and similar to like we have a Brewmasters, consume up to 4 chi to cause the target to explode with chi energy, and causing additional effects based on chi consumed. So 1 chi, which is deal nature damage equal to the enemy to X plus X per chi consumed. 2 plus, we add in damage enemies also take an additional 50% nature damage over 6 seconds. 3 chi, we also generate a charge of Tiger Eye Brew. And 4, the damage also hits enemies within 8 yards of the target. What's not here is that we know that if we do use 5 chi, the chi explosion does hit the server.
Yep.
Yeah.
So it's tweeted by Celestalon, I believe, about a month ago. So,
Yeah, it'll take down the entire server. So please avoid doing it at 5.
And if we are running Ascension, I believe we will be getting 6 chi.
Yeah,
I think.
6 will destroy a small city. So please avoid using that.
You are your own raid boss at that point.
Right.
Super Saiyan.
Right.
Now, what's cool about Chi Explosion is that it replaces Blackout Kick. Similar to how Russian Jade, when we replace Spinning Crane Kick, Chi Explosion replaces Blackout Kick. So your main Chi dump with this talent now becomes Chi Explosion. Combo Breaker Blackout Kick is also replaced with Combo Breaker Chi Explosion, which causes your next Chi Explosion to refund 2 Chi. So, very interesting. Very cool.
It's just
thing
nuts.
That's not fair.
Decide of, like how
I
many
want
chi to use
So
when using Blackout Kick. It's just going to add a really neat level of complexity, I think.
okay, I'll hold off and say what I'm thinking afterward. Chi Serenity.
All right.
Go ahead.
And yes, Chi Serenity, your Super Saiyan ability. You enter an elevated state of mental and physical serenity for 10 seconds. While in this state, all chi consumptions are instantly refilled. So this is when you get up to, let's say, 3 or 4 chi. And
Need at
you hit
least
your
3,
resistance
yeah.
kick. Blackout kick, blackout kick, blackout kick, 7 or 8 times. Pop a Fist of Fury. Once that's done, you still have a 2 chi left, or you have still some chi left over for a Rising Sun kick, and you're spent.
Yep.
So any kind of area time when you have a lot of specific damage increase, that's going to be huge. And I'm just really hoping that they make your character's hair go blonde at the same time, because that'd be great.
Yeah. All right. So what I'm thinking is you take Ascension, you take Chi Explosion, you get up to 6 Chi, you cast Chi Explosion. That will use 4. You'll refund 2. So you go down to 2, you refund 2, you're at 4, you do it again. So if you get up to 6 chi, you get 2 4 chi explosions in a row.
And when you do that 4, you get 2 back again.
Right, you get 2 back again, so you can hit a third time and just do the regular, dot and
50% damage.
Oh, good
That
Lord.
seems a little overpowered. Some people
yeah.
I like it.
That's not fair.
All right, so what are your thoughts on this overall, Air?
I'm really excited. It seems like a lot of the problems we had before with the rotation, the high skill cap for being able to use Fist of Fury, and if you miss one tick, if any one of these numerous things go wrong, you really lose the damage out in being able to use Fist of Fury. But that's kind of taken away now. That seems to become a much higher priority for us now, which is really neat. And it means that if we miss a tick or 2, it still might be a DPS increase. We still have to see the numbers, obviously, but that seems really cool.
Yeah.
The level 100 talents are neat. All the empowered stuff is cool. The glyph of floating butterfly is something we've been asking for a long time.
Right.
There's really not a lot to be upset about, especially when you look at the Windwalker compared to other DPS classes, in which the unilateral disarming of melee DPS for cooldowns, which is, Smoke Bombs has a nerf. What is it? The Rets no longer have Devo Aura. I mean, things like that are it's a nerf to some classes for sure, but it's bringing up the monk, and it really levels the playing field. To couple this with the AoE that we can do, the fact that Fist of Fury is 100% damage, and then adds a cleave on top of that to whatever you have next to you, I mean, it's going to be ridiculous the amount of damage we can do when there's more than one target up.
Yeah,
Sure.
absolutely. The changes that we've got, it has fixed pretty much every single pain point we've had as Windwalkers through this entire expansion. The Fist of Fury, completely fixed. 100% damage increases, like, lol, what? Storm, Earth, and Fire off the global cooldown. That is one of the biggest pain points. It's still going to be slightly annoying with mouse over macros because you never know exactly which one it gets put on. I think that has some improvement to do. And we are joined by someone on the line. How are you, and who are you?
This is Tiger Crane. I was one of your hosts during Ladies' Night episode.
Yes.
Greetings.
Welcome back.
Hello, it's
Welcome back.
great to be back. You know, it's wonderful. Got a little cup of eggnog, some candy canes, a big old bag for all the wrapping paper. The angels are singing and caroling about nerfing Smoke Bomb. Hello, it is Windwalker Christmas.
Praise be thee unto Celestalon.
You know,
Happy
let's be real
Patchmas,
about this.
every one of us.
Let's really think about this, because we want to avoid the ghost crawler syndrome where everything is on one guy.
Right.
It's still
Oh
the
yeah,
team.
it's
Right.
You know,
it's
praise be to
development
that
team.
team.
He's just the kind of the face for the
Yes.
development.
Right.
Yeah, and you Windwalkers are going to need to make a lot of cookies.
Yes.
I have
Lot
a
of
Hallmark
cookies.
card. I've got the card. I will mail it around. We can all sign it. You know, little heart, and we will just mail it to Celestalon, and that will be our thank you to him.
Okay.
We should just do that at BlizzCon if there is one.
Yes.
Yeah, just like a big old banner say we heart Celestalon, love Windwalkers, and you know, just show our gratitude because this is huge. This is amazing. You know, so many of our problems have been addressed with this. Like, this is like our wish list. Our golden wish list has just been check, 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 check.
Yeah. So the one downside I see here, we still don't have significant raid utility, but I think that's being corrected by removing that from pretty much everyone else. Single target DPS, I think we're still kind of low. They haven't really fixed that, though. Fist of Fury may have fixed that a little bit.
Yeah, it's really going to depend on just how powerful Fist of Fury is going to be, if that's going to be the key to bringing us back up to level. Though I'm really it's so hard to make comparisons between what we can predict for Warlords and what's happening now, just because we're not accounting for the item squish right now.
Right.
We don't know how that's going to affect other classes in comparison to us. And plus, right now, the stat inflation has just thrown
Everything off, yeah.
pear-shaped. I mean, what would normally be very modest deltas between classes and specs is just exploded because we have so many stats.
Right.
Although I'm going to say, if things keep the way they are and we don't see any significant nerfs to these numbers for retail, if there is a boss fight with 3 mobs, good luck catching up to us, everyone. Have fun. Enjoy being number 2.
Right, yeah.
Because
Cleave and AoE is our domain
It's
now.
going to be insane. Clones, Rushing Jade Wind, Hurricane Kick, or
Spinning Crane
probably
Kick,
G
yeah.
Explosion. It's going to be madness. And plus, with the fix to multi-strike, with the Fist of Fury, it's going to be insane. You know, nobody's going to be able to catch us on a Cleave or AoE fight.
Yep, I am looking forward to that.
Since they nerfed snapshotting dots.
Yeah.
They got rid of it.
Yeah, it's gone. All
It's
right.
gone.
The
Tiger
ultimate
Crane, thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate it.
It was fun. I look forward to seeing you guys again.
All right, take care.
Thank you.
Bye.
All right, and we've got a twofer coming up.
Twofer.
Twofer.
Twofer. Oh.
Well.
This should get interesting.
Yes.
We've got 2 people on the line. Who do we have?
Hello?
Hello.
Hello.
Hello, is this the Rogue Show? Am I calling the right place?
The Rogue Show, yes. Welcome to
Yes.
the Scumbag Rogue Show.
Okay, cool. Happy to be here.
And who do we have
hi.
on the line?
This-
This is Callie. Can you guys hear me?
Yep, we can hear you,
There we
Callie.
go.
Yes.
So we've got Callie
Right.
and...
Fight!
Bro time.
Oh,
Road
that's
time.
why we're all at the same time.
Yes.
Makes sense now.
I was confused. Well, like, I was listening to the stream on Ustream, and it's like a good 10 seconds. So I was still
Right.
finishing up what you were talking about Tiger Crane. So.
All right, so we have Rotan and Callie. What are your guys' thoughts?
Callie, you go first.
I see what you're doing. You're baiting me now.
No.
No, totally not. I'm actually quite excited about the Fist of Fury changes. I mean, it's something we've been asking for with being able to channel it while moving, etc. Like Tiger Crane said, good luck catching up on us.
Mm-hmm.
Damage raining down from the skies.
Yeah, I mean, I agree that our single target might still be somewhat lacking, but there's so much time to fix that right now.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's a lot of things they can do to fix that, especially with Fist of Fury being bumped up as much as it is. Chi Explosion, like I said, when we get up to 6 Chi, Ascension may make a comeback here. Get up to 6 Chi, that can work really well with Chi Explosion. So we have a lot of bursts that we can do there. So, what are you guys' thoughts specifically on improved energizing brew?
Not a fan.
Not a fan.
Yeah.
No, it's a recovery. It's a recovery cooldown first and foremost, and I'm really confused why they're adding a damage increasing component, a throughput increasing component to a skill that
recovery. Yeah.
I mean, I was listening to like Celestalon on the CTR show they did, and he kind of said they took out Innervate because like druids were just using Innervate on cooldown and it wasn't that interesting. I kind of see it as just an Innervate for monks, so I'm curious on where they go with it. But I really don't like having multi-strike on the ability because that just means that's
gonna be an on cooldown thing. Yeah,
it's an on cooldown thing, and it's gonna be I'm gonna stack all my stuff on top of each other. So you're gonna use it and Tiger Brew at the same time,
which is exactly what they were trying
at the same time.
Yeah.
You're gonna be like piling everything. I mean,
and that's exactly what they were trying to move away from. They were saying they don't want all these cooldowns to get stacked on top of each other. I think what their purpose of this improved energizing brew is who was it, Devil Lore, that kept telling us we were playing wrong with the haste? I think he's trying to fight Lore. Was it?
Who?
Oh yeah. I think he was.
That guy with the suit.
Yeah, I think he's trying to really like twist the knife and say, no, haste bad, play with low haste, because at the low haste, I mean, you're gonna have energizing brew on cooldown, Fist of Fury buffed like crazy. You're not gonna want a high haste build, especially now because haste really boosted us up due to our meta gem and cloak, which won't be a thing.
Yeah, and it won't be. And I mean, I think everyone. I mean, the cool thing about monks right now, and even in, I think going into warlords, is that you can kind of spec however you want. And they're basically reining in all the stats and kind of making them about equal in terms of strength. And you're going to have a favorite. I mean, if you want to go with a mastery build, that's viable. If you want to go with a haste build, that's going to be viable too. But yeah, I mean, it's going to be fun.
Yeah, well, that also depends on whether or not they tweak our mastery. I still think that we still get more benefit from haste than we do mastery. I mean, it's similar benefit, but we still get the attack speed benefit from it, and even the Fist of Fury channel time may end up being important as far as pulling that down.
And I think that's a matter of bringing the value of all the other stats up to haste. I think that's what they have to do, because haste has it touches so many things. It touches our chi generation, it touches our melee speed, it touches like our PVM trinkets and all that kind of stuff. So you kind of have to like raise the ocean, raising the tide raises all boats kind of thing. So
yeah, sometimes it's just good to be more hasty, right?
Right.
I like it. I mean, that's
I like that playstyle. I like that playstyle right now, but we'll see, because now that we have Energizing Brew and Fist of Fury so key, that's going to be something where they'll have to tweak the playstyle to make that a lot more effective, a lot more fun.
Currently, how much haste are you guys running in live right now?
A lot.
Avogadro's number, I think.
I think you're a little over 15,000.
Yeah, I'm about 15, 16K right now. It depends on. I'm still fishing for Warforged gear at the moment, trying to get that number even higher.
Perfect
You and me
level,
both. It's just for me the tier is over, so I really haven't been trying to get gear.
Yeah.
I mean, myself, I'm sitting around 13,000 and jumping up from even AOC usage with about 10 or so. I've noticed a a big increase. So yeah, I mean, with our new level 100 talents, those are also going to be taking up time where you can use them for energy rejuvenation,
it's chi
essentially.
generation basically.
Exactly.
Or it's going to be
Mhm,
Tiger Eye Brewer rather. So, yeah, you guys were talking about chi explosion, and the one thing to point out about it is that right now monks don't have an AOE chi dump, and that's exactly what it's going to be.
That's true. That is an AoE chi dump.
Like right now, when I'm using spinning crane kick, like if you're I don't know, I'm on Thok or whatever, and I'll use spinning crane kick, I'm trying to find a way to dump chi that actually like increases AoE damage or AoE anything, but it doesn't happen. So you maintain your RSK and TP buffs with it, but it's going to be nice. I mean, it's going to be very cool ability to play with once we hit the beta.
Yep.
Man, so it's going to be a jab chi explosion. It's our version of jab uplift. This is awesome.
Be fun.
Yeah.
Well, no, a spinning crane kick will be a lot better because it's got a base 1.5 second cast time, which is with haste that's comparable to jab. So you can just like spinning crane kick to generate chi and explosion to dump it. It's just going to rain numbers. It's going to be awesome.
Yeah. So more AOE for us.
That GCD, isn't it?
Yeah.
Lots and lots of dumping.
Yeah.
Chi.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it's gonna be so fat. Well, I mean, yeah, like I'm excited. So
yeah, it's just kind of ridiculous how good we're gonna be at
even
AoE.
more chi for me to waste now. Great.
Right. Right.
Going Warcraft
hey,
logs.
if you go to Ascension, that means that we get up to 6 baseline chi. So, or not baseline, but we'll have 6 chi, so it'll be less opportunity to waste it. Chi explosion, man. Like I said,
6 chi. Yeah, I guess.
You get up to 6, you get 2 4 chi explosions in a row.
Talents? Can I take both?
You can
the automatic refill one and chi explosion at the same time. Can I hack the game like that?
Yeah.
It's gonna be fun to see see what happens. Definitely.
Right.
Hold on, I'm setting up my own private server to test this.
Yeah. All right. Any last thoughts, you guys?
No, I'm actually really looking forward to playing with the beta. I guess I'm not going to be mailing Celestalon a pineapple like I've been threatening.
Yeah.
Unless he really wants one, in which case, okay.
Yeah. Okay, so here you go. Have 2 or 3. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like you guys said, I think I think they addressed all of our issues, all the Windwalkers issues.
Yeah.
Now we have the daunting task of finding new stuff to complain about. So
right.
Go do that.
Yeah, I think single target, that's where you need to focus in on single target. So you can complain about that.
Yeah, we need so much help there. Yeah. And hopefully we won't have like a tier of pure single target.
So do we get a complaint that they didn't change our mastery? Because we were complaining that they changed our mastery.
Oh, just wait.
It's still alpha.
Okay.
Exactly. Just wait.
All right, thanks so much for joining us.
Yeah.
No worries. Thanks, guys.
All right, let's move on to Mistweaver. All right, now Yuki, take it away.
All right, for Mistweavers, am I muted? No?
Nope, you're good.
My bad. All right, Resurrection mana cost is reduced by 4% of the base mana. Yay. Global cooldown is increased to 1.5 seconds and is reduced by haste. And I'll be talking about that later. Stance of the Wise Serpent no longer increases haste from items by 50%. Focus and Harmony is a new passive ability for Mistweaver monks. Focus and Harmony, what this does is the haste gives you it lowers the global cooldown of your spells and abilities. Now, I have a question real quick. There's no haste cap, correct?
No.
They got rid of haste cap.
Yeah, they got rid of breakpoints. Haste
yeah,
breakpoints,
there's no cap. So
technically there is a cap because you'll never get less than 1 second, I believe.
Right, your global cooldown.
Exactly, because their global cooldown is now 1.5 and is reduced by haste. Focus and Harmony lowers the spells and abilities, but only to 1.5. So technically, you do have a haste cap.
Yeah, there is a theoretical haste cap. Whether or not we'll be able to reach it with gear is a good question.
Yeah,
that's true.
And plus, haste will still have benefit because you'll still get increased ticks in renewing mist and stuff like that, but it will have less of a benefit once you get past the GCD cap.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Where was I? Crackling Jade Lightning no longer generates chi for Mistweaver monks, which sucked because that's what I would generate chi on the pole of Garrosh every night. Soothing Mist no longer generates chi for Mistweaver monks. Boo. That's going to completely change the way we heal. If you're a typical Mistweaver, the primary generation of chi will be Surging Mist, Renewing Mist, Expel Harm, and Spinning Crane Kick from the interview with Celestalon. Thunder Focus T now causes the next Renewing Mist to jump up to 4 times. This used to cause the next uplift to refresh the duration of the Renewing Mist on all targets. Now, to me, this sounds kind of like a nerf, but we'll see how it is in the beta. Healing Spheres now heal an ally within 12 yards, up from 6 yards, for 100%, up from 50% of their normal healing when they expire. That's a little bit of a buff right there. It now scales with spell power instead of attack power. When players run through multiple healing spheres, they only consume as many as needed to heal the player to full when consumed. So they fixed that. When they expire, the range has been increased to 12 yards, like I said, and the heal effect is full instead of half. Detonate Chi is a new spell available to Mistweavers. Detonate Chi will instantly detonate all of your healing spheres, causing each of them to heal a nearby ally within 12 yards of the sphere, and a 15-second cooldown. Stance of the Spirited Crane is what everybody is excited for. That is our fist weaving stance. From the interview, fist weaving should be 50-50 damage healing, maybe a little higher. Spell power to attack power conversion effect has been removed from Wise Serpent and is only available in the Crane stance. Eminence is also only available in the Crane stance. Serpent's Zeal is removed. Eminence always includes auto attacks now. Yeah, Eminence always includes the auto attacks now. The Spinning Crane Kick will only do heals in Serpent stance, and the Muscle and Memory and Vital Mist have been merged and are only available in the Crane stance. The Vital Mist effect is 100% damage to Crackling Jade Lightning. Tiger Palm triggers the Vital Mist effect at 5, free Surging Mist as usual. The Blackout Kick hits 4 additional targets for 50% of the damage. The Serpent Stance exclusive abilities are Enveloping Mist, Renewing Mist, Soothing Mist, and Uplift. The Crane exclusive is the Blackout Kick, Jab, Tiger Palm, and I believe Rising Sun Kick, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, it's been mentioned on Twitter and a couple other interviews, but it's not something in the patch notes, but it's there.
Interesting. The glyphs that we're getting, Renewed T. When Renewing Mist is dispelled, you gain 1 charge of Mana T. Glyph of Soothing Mist. When you stop channeling Soothing Mist, you gain 1% moving speed for every second that you spent channeling Soothing Mist. Glyph of Zen Focus. When you use Thunder Focus T, you gain Zen Focus, causing you to be immune to all silence and interrupt effects for 10 seconds. Great in PvP. The perks. We get Improved Expel Harm, which increases the damage and healing of Expel Harm by 20%. That's one of our chi generators, so that's good. Improved Renewing Mist increases the duration of Renewing Mist by 2 seconds, which will probably fix what I was talking about before, the Thunder Focus T, hopefully. The Empowered Tiger Palm increases the damage of Tiger Palm by 20%. Empowered Surging Mist increases the healing of Surging Mist by 20%. Improved Life Cocoon reduces the cooldown of Life Cocoon by 20 seconds. Improved Soothing Mist increases the healing of Soothing Mist by 20 seconds. So it looks like everything got buffed by 20% pretty much. Level 100 talents. The Breath of the Serpent. Your Jade statue breathes healing mist towards you, healing allies in a cone within 20 yards for X amount every second, split evenly between them, and it lasts 10 seconds. The Chi Explosion, which is OP in every spec, consumes up to 4 Chi to cause the target to explode with Chi energy, causing additional effects based on Chi consumed. With 1 plus Chi, it heals an ally for X amount plus X amount per Chi consumed. 2 plus Chi, healed allies also receive an additional 50% healing over 6 seconds, so they get a hot. 3 plus Chi, this healing also heals all allies within 8 yards of the target. So if everyone's stacked on the tank, that's another OP spell right there. 4 Chi plus also summons 8 healing spheres in an 8-yard radius ring around the target that lasts for 15 seconds. Another thing good for melee classes or anyone taking high damage in ranged or the tank or whatnot. This replaces the blackout kick, so Chi Explosion is instant while in the stance of Spirited Crane. Path of the Mists, while in combat, you leave a trail of healing spheres behind you, so you put blue balls everywhere. As you move, space 3 yards apart, and these healing spheres last for 15 seconds. So, as you run around pooping blue balls, just yell at people, run through my balls.
Yeah, so the level 100 talents I think are extremely interesting, and they fix a lot of things, especially with the Detonate Chi ability, or what is it called?
Chi Explosion?
No, Detonate. It is Detonate Chi that takes all of your healing spheres and causes it to explode. So Path of Mists, if you know a big AoE damage is coming, you run around your group, and then as soon as that hits, boosh, you hit them all. Also pair that with Chi Explosion. You do 4 Chi Explosion, which will summon the 8 healing spheres in an 8-yard radius around the group. Boom, Detonate Chi, huge AoE. This is giving us a whole bunch of interesting usage with healing spheres, which Mastery is now possibly a good stat.
It's pretty much fixing our AoE heals.
Yeah.
Because Renewing Mist isn't as reliable as we want it to be as far as the AoE heals.
Right.
With this explosion and putting healing spheres wherever we want, this is a perfect way to control our AoE heals.
Right. Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is fixing a lot of things. Now, you mentioned Thunder Focus T. That's going to up to 4 jumps, so that would put it on 5 targets. And so
4 additional targets, no? Like if you have it on 7
additional?
already.
It will jump 4 times.
Oh, okay.
I think that's what it said, is jump 4 times.
My brain received it.
It causes Renewing Mist to jump up to 4 times, so 5 people will benefit from 1 Renewing Mist cast.
Right, so you cast it on 3 and then hit it on 5, so you can have 8 covered. So that is a bit of a nerf, because you could have up to, what, friggin' 16?
Yeah, 16. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Pretty much a nerf.
So
in 10 mans, not so much. In 25 mans, it is a nerf.
Yes.
Yeah, but they don't want to have all Monk AoE tied to Renewing Mist. They want you to have other options.
Yeah.
And Breath of the Serpent is the one that we haven't talked about, because that hits everyone in a cone.
Yeah, so if you're stacked, yards. And that I think is fantastic, because it gives a use for that stupid statue, finally.
Yeah. And that'll be situational per boss fight, just like everything else, I believe.
Yeah, stacking fights is awesome. You just put it to the side of your stack, and you stand on the other side of your group, and boosh, you're hitting everybody. And so, yeah, AoE heals is not tied anymore to Renewing Mist Uplift. It's tied to your healing spheres, Detonate Chi, the statue, and Fist Weaving. So that's awesome. It's a complete playstyle change.
Do you think we'll be stance weaving?
Absolutely.
Because
yes.
To generate chi, it looks like I have to go to Crane. And to use it,
you lose chi when you switch stances, so you're not going to be able to generate chi in one stance and jump to the other one. What's going to end up happening, and it's something that I talked on Twitter already, and I'm kind of concerned with, right? They're looking to make Crane Stance your kind of baseline healing, DPSing, maintaining the raid kind of mode. All right. And if you're with a healing team, you're not going to top meters on either DPS or heals, but you're going to be able to just help fill in here and there and add to the overall healing. And then when you really need to pour on the juice and go into turbo mode, that's when you're going to go into Wise Serpent. And what's going to end up happening is that it's going to feel really powerful to the rest of the raid, but to you as the player, you're going to be sitting there going there, do I want to spend chi right now? Do I want to wait for one more? I want to go here. So it's almost going to feel like a slower play style when every other raider is thinking, oh my god, this monk is amazing.
Yep. Yeah, and Surging Mist, this is the key part, because right now in our head, Surging Mist is a pile of crap unless you're at really high item levels.
Unless you're... if you're fist weaving, you glyph it, and you just cast it for free every 5 Tiger Pulse.
Right. But I'm saying it for pure Mistweaving stand. Just Mistweaving. Surging Mist takes a lot of mana. It gives a chi, but I mean, it just takes so much mana, it doesn't do enough healing. It's kind of a piece of crap talent unless you're really high item levels. They're fixing that. And that's going to be our primary chi generation.
They're going to lower the mana cost quite a bit. So you're going to be putting in a lot more surgings. You're still going to get the instant cast surging and the instant cast enveloping if you're channeling Soothing Mist. So that's still going to stay there. But yeah, every single person that's playing Mistweaver right now is going to have to get comfortable with the idea of, I need to know in this fight when I want to be in Crane Stance and when I want to be in Serpent Stance. Right.
Yeah, and this is what I'm really liking, because especially adding in Rising Sun Kick to the rotation of Fist Weaving, and the Spinning Crane Kick will now proc Eminence. You're not getting the healing itself, but AoE healing would be good. You get the Blackout Kick Cleave, and they said in there you also get a 20% crit buff as well, which wasn't added in the show notes. So you're doing a lot more crit in Fist Weaving stance. But yeah, like you said, that's going to be your baseline. You're starting out in Fist Weaving.
That's going to be what's expected of you.
Right. You are the DPS healing hybrid, and then when crap starts hitting the fan, that's when you switch into Mistweaver and turbocharge heal for a little while, because it's going to take a lot of mana. You're going to go dry on mana really quick in that. But of course now we have Mana Tea as well, which you'll be getting, and you should get a lot of Mana Tea stacks in Fist Weaving because you're critting a lot. So it's gonna be.
Does your Mana Tea stay with you when you switch stances as well?
As far as I'm aware, yes.
That would be so messed up. Then
you're right.
Yeah, because the only thing they said it costs is that it doesn't cost any energy, it doesn't cost any mana or any. It costs all your chi and 1 global cooldown.
All right, I'm gonna bring in the community here.
Hello.
Hello. Who do we have?
We have Mist. Am I on?
You are.
Okay.
Yes,
Hi.
you are.
Hi. Okay. Sup.
Sup.
No, he's not on yet.
Oh yeah, Suplift's not here yet. So sorry.
Sup isn't here. Nobody cares about him. It's
All
fine.
right. All right. What are your thoughts?
Paladin. Okay, so my favorite part about the monk changes is the part where Disc Priest got nerfed.
Yes.
Yeah, speaking of which, I need a drink.
And
Oh, yeah, I
everything
need a
sucks,
drink
and we're
here.
all gonna die. No,
That's good stuff.
kidding. So I'll leave the specifics about like Crane Stance and talents to the other two, because I spent all day writing about Crane Stance and I'm tired of it.
I love that article, by the way.
Thank you. So my favorite part coming up is, this is an issue I've had with Mistweaver for the entire expansion. I know a lot of really good people who play other healers and they're really good at it, and they rolled Mistweaver and they whisper to me, they're like, Miss, I don't know what I'm doing, this is horrible. Because Mistweaver is not a very intuitive class. Mistweaver is kind of annoyingly complex because of how seamless it is. Like, I don't know how to tell someone, okay, well, this is where you're going to want to Mistweave, and this is where you're going to hit the boss. It's terrible. So in splitting into Mistweaving and Fistweaving, like, separate stances, they're making it so that it's going to be more clear to newer players or to people picking up monks. It's going to be a lot easier to explain to people, hey, you know, this is what you're supposed to be doing. The other thing being the Thunderfolk's T change. That was the other thing. I got into this with lore, basically saying, if you want to be really good at a Mistweaver, you kind of need a mod to watch a Renewing Mist. And by removing the way it works now, it makes it so that you don't need mods to play a Mistweaver.
Right.
You can just go, and it's fine.
Yeah, that was one of the biggest problems I had with Mistweaving, is the fact that you have to do exact tracking, and then if you want to be really perfect, you have to get at that just right moment where it hits 8 people, and then hit it. And you have to be.
God forbid you mess it up, and then everything goes to crap, and you suck.
Yeah, God forbid
You're
on
Garrosh and you get mind controlled.
Right.
Let's not talk about that.
There's a lot of Mistweavers who are going to have
a lot of
PTSD.
Oh, yes. But no, the main thing is Blizzard's making Monk a more friendly class. There are some issues I kind of have right now. The main bit is we're still kind of on the edge about Mana Tea. This is something Suplift and I have argued about a ton, simply because active regen like Mana Tea completely goes against what they're doing for every other class, and I don't know if they're really okay with us having active regen like Mana Tea. So I'm curious to see if they do anything with that.
Well, they talked about it on Final Boss, and Celestalon said that they want to do more active mana stuff for the other classes.
Yes, but the problem with that is active mana completely counteracts their, we want you to use Spirit. Because active mana, like Mana Tea, at least the way it works now, it's why we don't use Spirit.
Exactly.
So it's going to be very interesting to see what they do with that. But I think, like I was saying, the thing that makes me happiest is whenever someone asks me for help, I can be like, okay, this is what you do, and I can be positive about it. Because I always fall short when they're like, what about this fist-weaving thing? And I'm just kind of sitting there like, well, you see what had happened was... I have no idea, because it varies. But I don't know. There's a lot of interesting changes, talents, etc. But I don't want to steal that from the other guys. So I think the last thing I would leave out is this guy is not falling.
No. Yeah, Celestalon.
If you rolled a monk, specifically a Mistweaver, and didn't expect to have everything changed, I have no idea what to tell you.
Right. And you guys knew it was coming for a long time.
Yeah,
they were telling you in 5.4.
Throne of Thunder.
Right.
Like, at the end of Throne of Thunder, we're just kind of sitting there like, no, I don't think so.
Yeah.
This just doesn't work.
Right. Yeah, and Celestalon was very clear. I think it was in the CTR interview. I meant to clip that out and play it here, but he was just like, please, guys, we hear you. I know it's scary. It's scary losing chi on Soothing Mist. We get you. We're going to fix it. We're going to make it okay. The sky is not falling. You're fine.
Also, actually, that reminds me. I would implore every monk listening who doesn't currently glyph Surging Mist to do that. Even, actually, don't glyph it because you can't use it in Serpent Stance anymore, and get used to using Surging Mist in Siege of Orgrimmar, because if you're in Siege of Orgrimmar with Siege of Orgrimmar gear, there's a good chance you can effectively use it.
Right.
And it will help you prep for the next expansion, because yes, that will be the way we do things.
Right.
Yeah, that's
all
I really have to say on it.
Thank you so much for joining us, Mist.
No problem.
Have a great night.
You too.
All right, and next up. Oh, my stuffy nose is coming back. This is not good. Hello, caller. You're on the line. Who do we have?
That's Stormy.
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 All
Hey,
right.
Stormy.
Hi.
How you doing, and what are your thoughts?
I'm good. I'm really excited about the crane stance. So
Me too.
Yeah, it's my favorite part. I spent most of this tier progressing as a Fistweaver, so I had.
Yeah,
I didn't do a lot as a Mistweaver.
You're welcome to Rising Sun Kick. Have at it.
Oh, I love it. I love the idea of it. I love the tier talent choices as well with the chi explosion. I want to try that out, and a lot of it, I just want to get straight into it.
Right.
And
yep.
the only thing I was worried about at the start was chi regen for a bit, and I was like, nah, it's fine. We've got Crackling Jade. It's fine.
Yeah. Yeah, Crackling Jade Lightning, and we didn't really touch on this, they turbocharge that.
Yeah.
I think, and when you're in Fist Weaving, it's like half the cast time. It's a lot more expensive, but you get a good amount of chi out of it. It's going to be a good chi generator, and he said it was kind of like our flash heal.
Yeah, the only thing I'd be worried about with it is casting it while moving. I would love that.
Right.
So the casting did as you're moving. But
yeah, but I think they're moving. They're removing a lot of
that.
movement.
Yeah. So
which is nice because it also means the fights won't require it like they do right now.
Yeah, that's the only thing I was sort of worried about. Is like if we have to move for a mechanic, oh no, I have to stop my chi gen. Oh, what am I going to do?
Right.
I have to plan so far ahead. So I had, and then the surging mist as well during that stance is pretty awesome as well. Like I use surging mist as a chi generator now, as a mistweaver, like when I'm mistweaving because I have the gear to do it. So it's pretty sweet in that way. But like I absolutely love the idea of it, the extra stance. I don't know if they're going to balance it well enough for us though. That's the only thing I'd be scared of. Like, is it going to become Atonement 2.0?
Yeah.
So, question. Like,
well, they did say their goal is to be somewhat 50-50, maybe a little bit higher. So I know a lot of guys are talking 60-40. So I think they're going to balance it a lot better. And this was the main design focus for Mistweavers when it first came out. And that was what they were touting, is that you were going to be a DPS healer. And that kind of fell by the wayside. I mean, some monks did the fist weaving, like you, Stormy. But for the most part, it was designed for farm nights. I mean, or not designed for it, but a lot of people just did on farm nights and stuff like that. It wasn't.
10 man, it was quite strong, and 25, not so much. I'm 25 man, and it didn't really make a whole lot of difference whether I fist weaved or wrist weaved.
Right. Yeah.
So I did it for the fun of it, really.
But now they're designing the encounters with fist weaving in mind, and so this is cool. Excellent. I think it's going to be a lot of fun, and I'm very tempted to switch from Windwalker, or at least have it as my off spec. I'm excited for it. All right, any other thoughts, Stormy?
That's about it, really. I'm really psyched for it. Me and Redlich have been talking about it. He lives actually near me. So.
Okay.
No,
we're diving
real quick.
Yeah.
Like so you said you did mostly fist weaving as you progressed. Did you ever try out lightning weaving?
Yeah, I do lightning weaving as well.
And now Crackling Jade doesn't generate chi anymore. If that's correct, right?
It does generate chi in the
fist weaving stance. Yeah.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Fist weaving.
Yeah, I do both. I was lightning weaving tonight. This was Moon Raid night for me. I was doing that at the start until they made me switch to Windwalker. So it's fun enough, but we didn't need the heals. I had 3 disc priests and 2 holy paladins. So. Shields everywhere. Made me cry a little.
Well, I bet you're really happy the disc is a little nerfed now.
Oh, extremely happy. I'm tempted to get like little posters and flags everywhere and celebrate. we have 5.
We got mugs.
Yep.
Mugs
of 1,000 truth. Oh.
I was tempted to get one, so I was. We have 5 discs in total, like including. And we're on farm as well, so we're raiding twice a week, 14-14. So many shields everywhere. They make me cry.
Yes.
Just roll them for it.
You said 5 disc priests?
Yeah, in total we have 5 disc priests.
What is everyone else doing?
Making sandwiches and.
I mean, pretty much the only thing you can do is like, well, I'm just going to go stand in the machine gun, I guess, because there's nothing else for me to do.
Yeah, like there's no healing. Nobody's shields are going down, and if they're going to go down, it's a one shot. So it's like, oh, okay.
Right.
I'm fist weaving.
All right. All right, Stormy. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Have a good one.
You too.
All right, and our last guest of the night. Purple Manatee himself. Hello, caller. You're on the line. Who are we talking to?
Hey, I'm Suplift.
Hey,
Hello.
Suplift. Welcome back to the show.
The angry manatee.
Yes.
I'm very angry. Not really, but yeah.
All right, tell us your thoughts on the Mistweaver.
I don't know like entirely what Stormy and Mist was saying, but I think we roughly agree that I'm covering like Mistweaving and how it interacts, like the actual serpent stance shenanigans. So basically, with the changes to how Suving is generating chi, which really, realistically, how a heroic rating Mistweaver mob, it doesn't change anything. That's the big point. Because we're realistically right now spamming Surging or Spinning Crane Kick on the global cooldown, all the time when you have heroic gear. So what this really does is with chi not being generated from soothing, it allows them to buff soothing mist by either increasing its healing, or Celestalon actually hinted that it's going to interact with our other spells. Like, we're going to be able to like layer other spells on soothing, which I don't know how that's going to work. But
besides
it sounds cool.
surging and enveloping, you mean?
Yeah.
Okay.
That sounds cool. It sounds like that's just turning into our version of like Ephro and Beacon of Light.
Right.
Really. Because if you actually look at like Warlords of Drain or like mana costs, even though they're not final, the Soothing Mist has a 0.4% of your mana, which is actually really low. So
yeah, that's really low.
So yeah, that sounds like that's going to be what's soothing. Or they could do that, or simply just buff its actual output and make it like our mid-tier like healing spell.
Right.
That we can use to top people off. Yeah.
Okay.
The biggest thing is, there's also been some other data mine things that Renewing Mist could potentially generate 2 chi. That's pretty significant because that guarantees an uplift every 8 seconds. It's pretty strong. I don't think that will stay, but it's a cool change. And there was another one where TFT doesn't cost a chi, which doesn't really mean anything. I mean, it's okay, it's cool. I don't understand why TFT costs a chi, but cool change. So I'll actually talk about what's really the concerns a lot of people have of like actual chi gen, because people are like, oh, how are we gonna generate chi? But I think a lot of the problem people like worry about is that they're holding too closely onto the notion of, you know how in the patch notes has like Surging Mist is like a high throughput spell.
Right.
People are holding like way too close to that, and they're like thinking that, oh, we're never going to be able to use Surging Mist because it's so expensive, which really either, if that's the case, they'll just buff Uplift numbers or Renewing Mist numbers, or they're dramatically lowering the mana cost of Surging Mist.
Mhm.
Either or, it's going to be fine, so don't worry about that.
Right.
Okay, so the biggest thing you should actually worry about is like talents and how they affect us, and our actual mobility, which leads into certain talent choices. For Mistweaving, for our level 100 talents, they're pretty interesting. We get a cooldown, we get another cooldown, which is not Zuen, which is cool. We get another cooldown. It's looking pretty good. I think it's like, off the top of my head, it's like your Serpent statue does like a breath through AoE healing.
Yeah,
sounds pretty cool.
does a cone within 20 yards for every 1 second, and it lasts for 10 seconds. So
very neat.
Stacking fights that's going to be really powerful.
There's the other one that's more interesting, which is the Path of Mist, which basically that involves you to like, depending on how it works, you'll see Mistweavers either like sporadically dancing on the spot, which is really cool because I like A and D'ing on the spot, just proc Path of Mist. Or it has direct synergy with like Chi Torpedo, because the faster you move, the faster they proc, which is really cool.
Oh yeah, I didn't even think about that.
We're getting a lot of mobility buffs with the Glyph of Soothing. Glyph of Soothing is pretty strong with our mobility. It seems like the direction they're taking Mistweaving is that to push it away from like Restoration Druids, they're making our instants weaker, but our raw mobility like astronomically higher.
Right. So, Suplift, the Path of Mist, so it's when you're in combat, you leave the healing spheres behind you as you move space 3 yards apart. So there's no internal cooldown on that. As once you move 3 yards, you drop one, essentially.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, if you hit Tiger's Lust or you do Chi Torpedo
You're within a Windwalker range?
Right, you're within a Windwalker range, yeah.
Spinning crane kicking, you'll be probably dancing around the spot with your spinning crane kick or RJW.
So you can just leave tons of them around, heal with your Chi Torpedo, and then hit Detonate Chi.
Yeah.
Holy crap.
Yeah. Another big thing before I get on to Detonate Chi is they're actually increasing spinning crane kick's duration, which is really good for Path of Mist, because you're kind of like in this state of like instant healing, or I guess a channel, like movement channel. So it's not as punishing, like you running around at really high speed. And we're getting engineering boots for everyone, so yay, mobility.
Yay, gambling on every boss fight.
Yeah.
And apparently the failure rate will be slightly higher for non-engineers.
Oh crap.
Really?
I am not touching that.
It seems well, it's when you're running to the boss that the boots always fail. In the fights, I'm very high. I think it's much easier to use. I think.
Yeah.
There have been a couple of times in which we zone in after a fight, and I'm dead, like within a few yards of the door. And Chai's like, "Duke, what happened?"
Diffuse
running
magic,
boots.
Man. Diffuse magic.
Yeah.
One more thing before I move on from Path of Mist is that obviously they have a 15-second duration, which encourages you to do that dancing around on the spot. Which either you'll like run ahead of the group because it's good because you get to ignore range mechanics in our circumstance. That's if it stays, but either you'll run ahead with your group or you'll have such a large amount of mobility when using the stuff like spinning crane kick, glyph soothing, stacking, like just being like so mobile, which is really cool. I'm super excited for Path of Mist. Before I get on to Detonate Chi, I guess I'll touch on Chi Explosion. Firstly, why is it blue? The tooltip's blue. I don't understand. We're like green, that's our color. Why are we blue on a tooltip? I don't get it. But that talent will be absolutely mandatory for Crane Stance because it increases your damage. Yeah, it'll be absolutely mandatory for Crane, which is good. We finally get a talent that actually increases our damage or incentivizes us to damage, which is really good. Chi Explosion has the potential to be insane for grouped AoE healing. It really depends on like how strong our Chi Gen is, which we don't know exactly, but it'll either be like absolutely amazing. It sounds like an end of like expansion talent, kinda. It's really hard to say anything, so I won't really like touch on it, but it has extreme potential. But I'll move on to like Detonate Chi because that's actually like really important because for a couple of reasons. If you don't know, Detonate Chi instantly explodes all of your healing spears for 50% of their amount, and it'll hit anyone within. It'll hit 12 yards. I believe that's how it works off the top of my head. I really should know, but yeah.
Yeah, we got it here.
If you can read it.
Instantly detonate all of your healing spheres, causing each of them to heal a nearby ally within 12 yards of the sphere. It doesn't mention any percentage.
Oh, I guess they took that out. I saw 50%. Oh well.
Maybe that was in the data mine. This was from the patch notes, so data mine may have done that.
Yeah, so I'm just going to assume that. Basically, this is amazing for a few reasons. One, it gives you a mastery on stacked fights. We don't have a mastery on stacked fights because no one moves, and you always glyph EHS because EHS, or Enduring Healing Spears, is amazing. Oh, and yeah, you don't have a mastery on stacked fights, so this gives us a mastery on a stacked fights. It also gives us extreme AoE burst potential, which is really good. You can basically, like, say you have 10 Renewing Mist Up, which is going to be, like, the cap. If you look at, like, TFT, you have 10 Renewing Mist Up, 4 Chi, and you have a bunch of Healing Spears from either Path of Mist, just, how much mastery, because I should touch before I go on that. I'll go off a tangent, but basically how much mastery orbs you have around, you can double uplift, Chi Brew twice, uplift with a Chi, or either a Chi Explosion to bring the orbs, and then Detonate Chi and have like amazing burst AoE healing.
Yeah.
It'll be absurd. And Revival as well.
If they haven't changed that, they haven't mentioned Revival whatsoever.
No, they haven't.
I find it really interesting that they are taking these signature abilities for both Windwalker and Mistweaver and saying, you guys aren't using this enough. So they took Fists of Fury and made it awesome. And now they take Healing Spheres, which were crap in Mist, and now they're saying, alright, this is your signature ability. This is what you are using the entire time. This is what you build your entire healing toolkit around. Have fun.
It's really good, and there's also some other things in Mastery. They've already basically said they're going to buff scaling on Mastery, which is already really good. There's another thing to note is that they're not getting rid of Renewing Mist Blanketing, or at least not right now. So Renewing Mist Blanketing is really good because we're not going to be at 100% HP, which they advertise like we're not going to be at 100% HP. The problem with Mastery now is that we're constantly at 100% and it doesn't proc on overhealing. So we're not overhealing. Yeah, it will proc a lot of Mastery. And we have this talent which is amazing. So, yeah, Mistweavers are looking pretty strong.
Yes.
Or like pretty cool design-wise. Like, basically, the actual Chi Gen doesn't really change because we're surging. and spinning crane kicking anyway. And soothing will actually be a good spell. We'll have an incentive to actually like manage it and actually use it, because either you can layer it on top and it gives you a movement speed increase. We still have a bunch of free healing. We're still fairly noble with the uplift changes, which don't really matter. They're a nerf, but it gives you a reason to go haste with the 1.5 second global.
Right.
Which monks already didn't kind of devalued haste because we had a 1 second global, and they'll probably buff other things to make us like stronger for 1.5 second global.
And now you don't have to worry about hitting breakpoints either, which is really important.
Yeah, that's pretty significant because if you took Rushing Jade Wind now, you want to go as much haste as possible, but we're worried about breakpoints, so yeah, we'll give you a reason to actually stack it to the sun don't shine. Yeah.
All right. Okay. Well, anything else uplift?
Crane stance is cool.
Yeah.
Even better.
All right. Thank you so much for joining us, Uplift. We appreciate it. Have a wonderful night.
You too, friend.
Bye. Okay. Wow. Okay, so we are at our longest show ever at this point, and more to go. So, it's time to travel to the Peak of Serenity, the home of all monks in... Where's my soundboard? I haven't needed it in like 2 hours.
Zen pilgrimage.
Monks, assemble!
Alright, we have some questions from the community, and then we'll get to the questions for the dojo. Alright, Aria had a question. In Hearthstone, there's no monk deck yet. When it does come out, what should the monk hero power be? I thought this was an interesting question. I'm excited to see what kind of monk deck they're going to come out with, what cards and powers they're going to give us. But for the power, since I think the hero's most likely going to be Chen, it's got to be, right? I'd say it would be Elusive Brew. So let Chen avoid the next hit on him.
I would probably think something a little different. I'd say for 2 mana, you pick a target and it is essentially spent until your next turn. And it's just Keg Smash.
Okay.
You know what? It's going to be Fist of Fury. One target takes 4 damage. Everyone around it is going to take, depending on how many, either 3 damage, 2 damage, or 1 damage.
That would be incredibly overpowered, though.
Stupidly overpowered.
That's
it fits
what
in
monks are
with
for.
monks, doesn't it, though?
Yeah.
Yeah, true.
Overpowered. OP-ness.
Yep. Storm, Earth, and Fire could be something, too, where you would get 2 1/1 minions for that turn or something like that. That'd be cool. All right, now Yuki?
Blackout Kick? I don't know. What is he, a tank or a Windwalker? I always thought he was a Windwalker.
He loves his brews. I always assumed he was a brewmaster.
He is whatever he wants to be, because no one tells Chen no.
Yeah, in the book up there, in Pearl of Pandaria,
Revival.
he does Storm, Earth, and Fire. So, I think he's Brewmaster main spec, Mistweaver, and Windwalker off spec, because he's awesome that way.
Oh, Fistweaver, okay.
Yeah.
So, I'm going to go with Rushing Jade Wind.
Okay.
Screw it. Heal me and all the cards I have out.
Okay, that'd be cool. All right, and we had a link sent in to us from Sincere asking our thoughts on the first United States Brewmasters beer, actual monastery brewing beer in the U.S.
I saw this. I'm dying to get my hands on it. I'm making a trip to Boston this coming up week for PAX East, so I might have to find a way to get out there.
Yes. He says that it's on a waiting list right now, so you're going to have a hard time finding it, but do some research. Hopefully you can taste test it for us.
Yeah, there's no possible way I'm going to be able to find that here.
Right.
It's going to be a while.
Right. All right, let's go to the dojo questions. Let's see if I can find them here. They're talking a lot, so it's kind of hard. Dark Lady asks, let's see. Mastery.
Mastery.
Yeah, will Mastery
be
become viable for Mistweavers in PvE come Warlords? And as Suplift said, yes.
Everything's going to be viable because they want to reduce the delta of the values between the different stats.
Right.
So everything is going to be useful. Is Mastery going to be good? Yeah, probably, because it means more balls for detonate chi to work
Right.
off of.
Yeah, it will depend. Like, if there's a lot of AOE healing fights that you need, and the triage model that they're saying indicates that people are going to be below 100% the whole time, so your AOE is always going to be useful. So stacking mastery, or not even stacking, but having a good chunk of mastery means you're going to have more balls available when you hit detonate chi. And so it's going to be a useful stat, which is a nice bonus from this whole expansion where mastery was pretty utterly useless. So I like that. Do we have any other questions?
We had Secryptic asked about intellect to attack power, but no spell power from it, or spell power from spirit. The way it works, just like it does now, your attack power will be equal to double your spell power. So all the intellect you have will go into spell power. You double that, goes into your attack power for the physical attacks. So that's not really changing in Warlord of Draenor that we know of.
Yeah. Okay, sorry, I had to ban someone from chat really quick. Any other questions we got?
I'm looking.
Did you ban Dark Lady again? Oh,
no. I don't think so, at least.
No.
Okay. All right. Well, couple of blog posts we're going to point you guys to. Reglitch and Mist both had an excellent analysis on crane stance. So I will put links in the show notes, but just check out bestmonk.eu and also sentrytotem.com. Check those out, and they have both excellent write-ups on crane stance. So go check those out if you're interested in mist weaving and fist weaving.
Learn it. Love it.
That if you haven't had a chance, listen to they also check out the Monkcraft podcast. Golvin had Jim, who we just talked to on our show, as well as Just Wait from Method on there discussing some of the Windwalker changes.
Yes.
So if Windwalkers are your thing, and really they should be, give them a listen to. It's a good show.
All right. Well, let's go ahead and sign off here finally. Now, Yuki, what you got to pimp?
Not a pimp, just a shout out.
Okay.
Just thanking all the guys and gals that called into the show and put all their thoughts on the new patch notes. It was great insight on all the specs. Learned more about Windwalkers than what Air said. Learned more about Brewmasters than what Air said, and or Chai, sorry.
Yeah.
But
oh, your mic just cut out, man.
I was back to Brewmaster, and now I am successful. Yes.
Okay,
so
go
now
ahead
I
and start off.
how to tank.
Go ahead and start off on that Sunnier thing because your mic disappeared.
No.
Yep. Try again.
Okay. Shout out to Sunnier for her awesome website, sunnier'sartofwar.com. I have successfully changed my off-spec to Brewmaster instead of Windwalker, and I do understand how to tank now, so I'm in Duke's level, sort of, I guess.
If you understand how to tank, you've already surpassed me.
All right, Air, you got any shout-outs?
Let's see. Shout out to my raid team because we have a long road ahead of us, but the one thing we do best is bang our heads against the wall until we get something down. So, yes, and everyone who called in tonight, all the monks in the community, especially the ones who are kind of coming out on Twitter, bringing in a discussion, talking about us, getting everyone excited. Thank you guys for continuing to do this because it makes it a lot of fun. We got a lot to look forward to come Warlords.
Okay. All right, and Duke?
Just same thing. Thank you to everyone who participated. Thank you to everyone I've had wonderful chats with over both Skype and Twitter since we got this. Since we got all this information, it's been absolutely fantastic and just more proof that monks really know how to hang together. On a personal note, I'm going to be up in Boston at PAX East this weekend. I'm really excited. I know at least one other monk's going to be there. Adam from That Random Geekcast is going to be up there. Any other monks who are going to be up in the PAX East area, hit me up on Twitter. Let's meet up somewhere.
All right, and yeah, thank you. Like everyone else said, thank you to everyone who joined us tonight. I really appreciate it, joining in, and the chats that we've had on Twitter and on Skype most recently. 600 friggin' messages when I came home. Thank you guys. It's been fantastic. You guys have been really helpful, and again, praise be the unto Celestalon and all the Blizzard community for fixing Windwalkers. Thank you so much. We love you all. All right. Okay, guys, I think it's time to get Air's tiny for now until he switches. That's the wrong thing. There we go. Get his tiny butt and our furry butts out of here. But first, let's go see those awesome 5-star reviews. Now, Yuki, take it away.
Our Montastic 5-star review is by Area from Draenor from US on March 26, 2014. Hey guys, love the show. I've listened since episode 1 and have been bad and not left a review yet. I listen every week on my way to work. If you have a monk and want to learn more or are interested in the monk and what the monk has to offer, this is a wonderful podcast to listen to. I greatly enjoy all the monk flex. What?
The all monk flex.
Oh, the all monk flex. I showed a friend our thought kill from last week and he wants to come along next time.
Nice.
I strongly encourage everyone to come to the next flex day if they can. Keep up the good work.
Yeah, that flex kill was fantastic. Speaking of Area, I want to thank her so much for donating to the show to help offset our bandwidth costs. Your support is greatly appreciated. Thank you so much. If you want to support the show, you can visit our Twitch page or monkmeditation.com. So please rate us on iTunes, subscribe on YouTube, or on twitch.tv. Your subscription numbers do help, so please do that. As part of the Monk community, if you have a blog, website, or person you want to see on the show, please reach out to us via email at show@monkmeditation.com. The Monk community is the best one in the World of Warcraft. We want to showcase it. Duke, how can the dojo best reach us?
You can follow the show at monk_meditation on Twitter. You can find Chai T at WowMonk. Naoyuki is at Naoyuki_CTR. Air can be found at Airwalker. I can be found at Daikatsu CTR, no underscore. And Captain Crunch can be found at KPTN Crunch.
Thank you, everyone, for listening. You can watch us live April 21st at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific, midnight UTC at twitch.tv/wowmonk. And you can also catch us after the fact on iTunes, Stitcher, Twitch, YouTube, and monkmeditation.com. Monk Meditation is part of Catalyst Gaming Media. For other great gaming blogs, podcasts, and events, please visit catalystgamingmedia.com. That wraps up this episode of Monk Meditation, our longest ever. So,
may your brews be strong and your heart stronger.